Continuing from our success last summer and the fall launch that we had last year. And that's an amazing program where we provide low-cost, equitable programming to our communities. We have a robust aquatics program where people can learn to swim. Learning to swim is free in the city, so I encourage people to go out there, find a local pool, and learn to swim. I personally am a park user, and so it's important to me to make sure that our parks are clean, accessible, and have just amazing programs. So I look forward in my leadership here and leading the wonderful men and women of the Department of Recreation and Parks.
Rec and Parks isn't the only department offering programs for Angelenos. Stick around to hear about what the public library has in store. Do you think museums are just serious and quiet places? A day at the Grammy Museum in collaboration with Council District 9 is proof that museums can be a lot of fun with interactive exhibits where people can dance, sing, play instruments, and discover the ins and outs of the music business. The Grammy Museum welcomes everyone inside their doors.
We are thrilled to be hosting a day at the museum with Council District 9 and Councilman Curran Price and his wonderful staff today. We try to be the opposite of a boring museum. We are a highly interactive music museum. This is about celebrating music and the greatest art form, at least in my opinion, that there is.
First of all, we're just excited to be here at the Grammy Museum in the 9th District. And this is just an exciting opportunity for us to expose our young people to the obstacles and opportunities in the music business. And what better place than the Grammy Museum? And so we're just so proud and pleased that it exists in our community and that our community residents have a chance to take advantage in learning some of the resources that are here.
There's all kinds of programs and exhibits that go on here all the time, and we realize that a sector of our community might not know about us, might not feel comfortable coming down. So these are a way to introduce our facility. We want people to come in and dance and sing and play the drums and learn what a harpsichord is and play a washboard. We want people to touch and feel. We want this to be a tactile and visceral, emotional experience so that people walk away and really connect. They see somebody that looks like them, that sounds like them, and maybe it inspires them to go on and have a career in music. Maybe it inspires them just to listen to more music and broaden their horizons. It's a little bit of everything. We really want to have the opportunity to welcome so many different people with so many different interests, and music really is a way that we can do that. It touches so much.
Part of our mission is really to serve this community. The things that we celebrate, the music, the diversity, the culture, is really a reflection of the community around us. So it's important for us to celebrate people in music, but also the audience, the people who keep the music alive, who support the music, who will be the future generation of the music. So I think it's really important for us to be able to reflect that, not only in what we do as a museum programmatically, but just also to open up our doors and invite the community in.
We all know the saying, practice makes perfect. And, I've achieved a few things in my life through the music industry and radio industry, but to this day, I still practice. And so, we want to give direction and guidance to show these kids where they can go, how they can have access to certain tools to, further their interest and, in some cases, their talents. And so I'm excited to help feed these kids' minds.
We appreciate the partnership with the Grammy Museum. They are an iconic resource in our community, not just South LA, but all of Los Angeles, all of Southern California, and indeed the world. And to have a world-class partner working with our community, working with our kids, is inspiring for all. So we're just very appreciative.
Power outages, major windstorms, wildfires, and earthquakes are unexpected disasters that Angelenos need to be prepared for. By doing so, you are making sure that you protect yourself, your family, and your community. Jennifer Lazo from the Emergency Management Department shared some valuable tips to help Angelenos stay prepared and safe in case of a disaster.
Angelenos need to be prepared for everything from a power outage to a major Santa Ana windstorm to wildfires and earthquakes. Disasters can happen without any notice or warning, and so by being prepared, you can make sure to protect yourself, your family, and your community. One of the first steps is gathering the information that you need to be prepared, so signing up for emergency alerts and knowing how to get good information. Also, you want to gather the supplies needed for your disaster preparedness kit. This might mean having a bag under your bed with shoes and a flashlight, having food and water and blankets set aside in case you need to evacuate or shelter in place at home. You also want to make a plan with your loved ones for if you have to leave rapidly, where will you meet? How will you get in contact with each other? Finally, you want to make sure to be informed. You want to have all of the information you need to take good actions during an emergency. This involves signing up for Notify LA at notifyla.org, which is our emergency alerting system. That will tell you the information you need to be ready to go. This system can send you a phone call, a text message, an app notification, and you can even buzz your phone like an Amber Alert so that you find out that something is going on in your neighborhood. To get your community prepared, we have a program called Ready Your LA Neighborhood, which allows you to gather with your community members and talk about what needs you might have. So for kids, maybe it's knowing that they have a trusted neighbor that they can go to if there's an emergency while they're at home alone. Also, maybe you know that there's a doctor down the street if something happens and you can't get to a hospital or an urgent care clinic. It's National Preparedness Month, which is a really great time to take these actions. We know that there's a lot of different hazards that can affect the city of Los Angeles, and we need to be ready for all of them.
This week, in our ongoing series celebrating the 60th anniversary of the LA Cultural Heritage Commission, we visit the Korean National Association Memorial Hall. Once the center for the Korean national movement, this place of meeting and education tells the story of the Korean community and contributes to the rich diversity of Los Angeles. Let's hear this story.
We are at the Korean National Association Memorial Hall, City Cultural Monument number 548, designated in 1991.
그 전에는 대한인국민회가 샌프란시스코에 그 사무실을 두었고 처음으로 이 건물을 로스앤젤레스로 이전하면서 지은 건물입니다. 그리고 미국과 그 다음에 멕시코 그리고 큐바에 있는 동포들과 함께 상해 중국에 있는 임시 정부를 도왔습니다.
From 1937 to 1945, it was the center of the Korean national movement, fighting for independence from Japan pre-World War II and during World War II. Subsequently, it's become a meeting place, a place of education, and a place of telling the history of the Korean community.
2003년에 이 건물을 새로 리모델링을 해서 독립운동의 전시관으로 만들었습니다. 대한인국민회의 이 지금 기념관은 한인사회에서 역사 교육장이자 우리 그 차세대들의 나라 사랑 정신을 키워주는 곳입니다.
I think one of the important things about this building is that it really shows the importance of preservation as telling the history of Los Angeles. This isn't about architecture. You drive by, you don't pay any attention to the building. But the history of what happened in this building is important to understanding the city of Los Angeles, the diverse communities of Los Angeles, and how LA became the city, the international city it has become.
Have fun at the spectacular Boo at the LA Zoo. Attend a free bike safety lesson at the Eddendale Branch Library, or enjoy the theater play Desert Stories for Lost Girls. All this up next on Things to Do.
The most spooky and fun night of the year is still about a month away, but the staff and the animals at the LA Zoo are already getting ready to trick-or-treat visitors with their special programming, Boo at the Zoo. This program welcomes adults and kids and will consist of spooktacular activities like open-air live shows, animal pumpkin feedings, themed photo ops, education stations, trick-or-treat weekends, and much more. Boo at the Zoo is free for guests who purchase a general admission ticket and will be taking place every day at the LA Zoo from Saturday, October 1st until Monday, October 31st. For more information, click on the Plan Your Visit tab at lazoo.org. Attention cycling aficionados. The Metro Bicycle Education Safety Training Program is holding an open class to introduce the bike share system as well as important safety guidance at the Edendale Branch Library. Attendees will learn about basic bike safety skills, rules of the road, traffic laws, bike services, and events offered by Metro. Those who register and complete the course will also get a free 30-day Metro Bike Share Pass, a free helmet, and a set of bike lights. Bike Share 101, Safety Basics, is free and open to teens and adults. It takes place at the Edendale Branch Library on Thursday, September 29th at 5 p.m. For more information and to register, visit lapl.org/events. Do you believe your ancestors walk with you? Lily Rushing's Desert Stories for Lost Girls, a new theatrical production in collaboration between Native Voices at the Autry and the Latino Theater Company, is a lyrical rumination on family, identity, and colonialism over generations. The story follows 18-year-old Carrie when she moves in with her grandmother, Rosa, and is thrown into a world of memory and mystery that unearths her family story and identity. Desert Stories for Lost Girls will take place at the city's Department of Cultural Affairs Los Angeles Theater Center from Wednesday, September 28th until Sunday, October 16th. Performances are at 8 p.m. from Thursday to Saturday and at 4 p.m. on Sundays. For more details about the show and to buy tickets, visit latinotheaterco.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Ever notice how we no longer focus our attention on one thing at a time? We don't just walk or even just drive. We focus on so many different objects we don't notice the dangers ahead of us. We're a distracted society. We're blind to the importance of being safe, to the things that really matter. Blind to the things that could actually save our life. We're blind to everything surrounding us. Be aware, move with care, watch the road.
Farrell here, President Pro Tem of the City Council. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfeld. Bonin. Buscaino.
Here.
Cedillo. Absent. De Leon. Harris Dawson. Absent. Hutt.
Present.
Koretz.
Present.
Krikorian. Absent. Lee. Martinez. Absent. O'Farrell.
Present.
Price.
Here.
Rahman.
Here.
Rodriguez. Absent. 10 members in a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. And what is our first order of business?
Approval of the minutes of September 21st, 2022.
Councilmember Price moves. Councilmember Koretz seconds. Next, please.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember Buscaino moves, and Councilmember De Leon seconds. Next, please.
Mr. President, items 1 through 18 are items for which public hearings have been held. The personnel audits and animal welfare committee report has been submitted for item 1 and posted to council file 14-0236. An additional community impact statement for item 11 has been submitted by the Pico Neighborhood Council against the matter. A corrected energy, climate change, environmental justice, and river committee report and a corrected draft ordinance dated September 21st, 2022 has been submitted for item 15 and posted to council file number 22-0600-S90. Items 19 through 27 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Thank you. And without objection, those items are now before us. Members, do you wish to call any of these items special? Any items special today? Seeing as there are none. Mr. Clerk, before we begin our public comment, I understand Mr. Koretz has a presentation. Mr. Koretz, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month, and this month is not quite over, so I wanted to take a moment to talk about one of the deadliest gynecological cancers. It's so important that we keep this conversation going, not just here, but at home with every one of the women in our lives. Ovarian cancer ranks 5th in cancer deaths among women, accounting for more deaths than any other cancer of the female reproductive system. More than 22,000 women are diagnosed each year with a 50% mortality rate. Part of this horribly high mortality rate is that detection comes too late. And for those who fight it successfully, it has a 50% chance of reoccurring. Ovarian cancer can happen to women of any age. So all women should not only be aware of the symptoms which can mask as symptoms of the menstrual cycle, which is why it's extremely important to have an annual checkup and talk to your doctor about any unusual symptoms. And we are displaying some of those symptoms on the screen, I believe. And I'm a husband and a father, and I'm so grateful for the tireless commitment of the incredible people who are focused every day on the battle against ovarian cancer and the efforts to raise awareness. Here in Los Angeles, every year since 2017, we have declared Ovarian Cancer Awareness Day in the city of Los Angeles, and tonight, Los Angeles City Hall and the LAX pylons will once again be illuminated in teal. Teal is the national color of ovarian cancer awareness. And thanks to our neighbors in the city of West Hollywood, where this year they have also lit up West Hollywood City Hall and the lanterns along Santa Monica Boulevard in the color of teal for 14 days this month, thanks to the hard work by our friends at the Ovarian Cancer Circle. This presentation is a little bittersweet for me because this will be my last time as council member presenting this important awareness campaign with our friends here at the Circle and Circle founder Palinda Babini, who lost her 20-year-old daughter Robin to ovarian cancer. Doctors told her that Robin was too young to possibly have ovarian cancer, and so it wasn't positively diagnosed until it was too late. Palinda and the Circle's active volunteers include survivors and families and friends who've lost others. They work closely with the UCLA Johnson Cancer Center and Dr. Mamarzadeh of the Go Discovery Lab. In the past years, we've been joined by Council President Martinez and Rodriguez, who cannot join us this year, but I'm also very glad to have Councilmember Rahman and Councilmember De Leon on this important information campaign. They have all pledged to continue this tradition to save lives by sharing this life-saving information and carrying the teal torch. And Councilmember De Leon, if you'd like to say a few words, we would be delighted to have you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, and colleagues, good morning to each and every one of you. First of all, Mr. President, as well as colleagues, I do want to give a very special thank you and a recognition to our very own council member from the 5th Council District, Mr. Koretz, for his steadfast commitment and for his leadership, giving voice to so many women, to so many mothers and sisters and aunts and cousins and friends and co-workers on the issue of ovarian cancer. And I want to give a very special thank you to the Ovarian Cancer Circle, these incredible women who advocate and who give voice to so many families. The incredible work that you all have done collectively speaks volumes to how much work is ahead of us. And this is an issue that is very deeply personal to me, and I remember last year I had mentioned it for the first time, that this impacted me as well as my family, because I lost my mother to ovarian cancer. And I lost her at a very, very young age. The older I get, I realize the age of 54 is so young, and you have so much more life ahead of you. And I lost my mother at the age of 54, and unfortunately, as so many women know, that when ovarian cancer is detected, it's detected usually in stage 4. And we have done an incredible job when it comes to breast cancer. So much so that, you know, women will self-check all the time, and the rates of breast cancer, or at least detecting it early, has increased incredibly. Ovarian cancer is so much different, and that's why we need so much more money at the federal level for research, both from the private and public dollars, because we lose so many folks. And all of you know that I grew up as a single mother, with a single mother, who was both mother and father, who was a woman who put the roof over my head, the clothes on my back, and paid for the rent and paid for the food on the table. So we lost not just a woman, a single immigrant woman with a 3rd grade education, but we lost the main breadwinner, and that devastated completely the whole family. And that's what ovarian cancer does. You know, it just doesn't take away one individual or a woman. It takes away, you know, caregivers, that strong pillar in our society. And God knows, we all know in Latino families, Latina families, that mother is our patron saint. She is everything to each and every one of us, and I know it is for our African American communities and so many other communities. So I just want to thank, you know, my good friend Paul Kokorian for your steadfast commitment to these women, and to all the incredible women who are here today, the advocates and activists who every day in the trenches fight for more resources, not just to educate. Education is so critical, but getting those in positions of power to make sure that they use those positions of power to access the financial resources that are so desperately needed to continue the research. And who knows, maybe at SC or at UCLA, maybe at Stanford, elsewhere, we will find a cure or at the very least, a better diagnostic instrument to detect, this devastating cancer much more early in stage 1 or stage 2, where we have a fighting chance. And it took my mom in 1 year after cancer that I went down to the hospital. Doctor said they got about 97% of the cancer. And so me thinking she's gonna live for a long, long time. Within 12 months, it came back ferociously and she was gone. So, God bless all of you here today, and God bless the women here today who have ovarian cancer, and may we come together to continue to educate LA. Thank you much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Councilmember De Leon, for that very heartfelt commentary. Now I'd like to hear from Councilmember Rahman, who's also joining us on this issue.
Thank you so much for allowing me to stand with you today. I'm very proud, and I'm really here to support all of you in bringing awareness to this issue. Councilmember Koretz, I know you've been so focused on this every year, and I hope that we can carry on the mantle of making sure that we continue to stay focused on this and to bring awareness of this. And Councilmember De Leon, I had no idea. So thank you for sharing those remarks. I'm so moved and touched that you opened yourself up to us today, and to all of you who have lost a loved one to ovarian cancer. I think we are here to say that this council sees you and is here with you and joins you in your fight as you raise your voices to bring more attention to this issue, to bring the research dollars to this issue, and to make sure that this does not go under-researched and underserved because it's an issue that affects women. And I think that's incredibly important for us all to say. We need to stand up together. And I hope that today we can continue to honor the lives lost and pledge our recommitment to all of it. So thank you all for allowing me to be here, and I look forward to continuing to recognize and bring awareness to this issue in the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And next we want to ask Paulinda Babini to say a few words. Her courage to tell this painful story is an inspiration to us all. And over the years, this story and your tenacity has come to mean so much to me and to my staff. So if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Koretz, Councilmember De Leon, and Councilmember Rahman. It's an honor to be here. My name is Paulinda Babini, president and founder of the Ovarian Cancer Circle, inspired by Robin Babini. I founded the circle to honor the memory of my daughter Robin, who lost her life to ovarian cancer at the age of 20. On behalf of all of us, there's Robin, on behalf of all of us at the circle, I would like to extend my profound gratitude to Council President Nuri Martinez, Council members Monica Rodriguez, Paul Koretz, and now Council Member De Leon for their ongoing support for this proclamation acknowledging September Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And I add a special shout out to Ali Samard, who works tirelessly supporting this circle. We are truly honored that 6 consecutive years, City Hall and the iconic LAX pylons have been aglow in teal, the national color of ovarian cancer. The Circle's mission is to save lives by educating the public about ovarian cancer symptoms, which were shown on the screen and on the bookmarks that we gave out to each of you at your desk. We also support Dr. Sanaz Mamarzade's research at the UCLA Go Discovery Lab, whose team works to find more effective ways to prevent, treat, and cure the 5th cause of gynecologic death in the U.S. Ovarian cancer needs a higher and more vigorous public profile. With today's prominent recognition, you are helping that to happen. I truly believe if I had known then what I know now, Robin would be here today to tell the story herself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paulinda, for turning your personal tragedy into action that can save hundreds, thousands of women's lives. So we all appreciate you. And I do want to also point out that this year the Circle reached a fundraising landmark of $1 million. Let's give them a big hand for that. And where does that money go? It goes to the brilliant and tireless research of Dr. Memarzadeh, who is working tirelessly to save lives at her Go Discovery Laboratory at UCLA Johnson Comprehensive Cancer Center. So we'd like to ask her to speak as well. Dr. Memarzadeh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be here today. Paulinda, thank you for sharing your story. Councilmember DeLeon, thank you for sharing your story. It's the stories of those women who actually inspired me when I was training at UCLA to undertake a fellowship in gynecologic oncology, and after that also to pursue a PhD training so that I could care for women and help advance care of women with ovarian cancer, not only through standard clinical avenues, but also through research. And there's much more work to be done. The challenge that Councilmember DeLeon just explained, that we can get the cancer, 96% of the cancer surgically and then through chemotherapy, but ovarian cancer often recurs. That's the big question that we are trying to answer in the lab. I'm just gonna give you in a nutshell how we're going about tackling this problem. What we're studying is what's unique about those cells that may be evading or escaping standard chemotherapy. What's the quality of those cells? Are they different from the majority of the tumor cells? Likely those cancer cells also can regenerate and repopulate the tumor. So we're figuring out how can we come up with combination treatments that we can add to standard chemotherapy that can hopefully eliminate those cancer cells. In addition, a very exciting and new avenue of research for us is looking at immune therapy now. We want to understand what is unique about those cancer cells that may evade the patient's own immune system, and how can we come up with immune therapy approaches that can be infused back into the patient with powerful immune cells that can hopefully target and attack those cancer cells. So these are big areas of research in our lab. I'm very fortunate to be at UCLA Health, where through collaborative clinical care, I truly believe we provide the best care and individualized care for every woman diagnosed with ovarian cancer. But not only that, through collaborative research with multiple scientists and brain powers, it takes a village to solve this challenging problem. So we're working on this together, and our hope is one day to tell a woman diagnosed with ovarian cancer and treated that she's cured, and that the risk of the cancer relapsing is going to be very low. So thank you all for your support and bringing light to this cause, which is very important. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for all of your good work. And now we'd like to make a presentation of a certificate to this organization. And maybe Paulinda will accept it on behalf of them.
Congratulations to the Circle, and thank you so much for your inspiring words. There is hope. Thank you for that. And Mr. Koretz, thank you for your dedication to this cause every year you've been on the City Council. And with that, Mr. Clerk, which items are available for us to vote on at this time?
Mr. President, there are cards on items 11, 16, 19 through 27. The council may now vote on items 1 through 18.
All right, let's please open the roll on items 1 through 18. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to public comment. Mr. Clerk, Mr. City Attorney, would you please explain the speaking rules to members of the public?
Of course, Mr. President. So the items that are open for public comment are items 19 through 27. You have up to 1 minute per item to speak, up to 3 minutes total. If you wish, you also have 1 minute for general public comment, in which you can speak about anything within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. We ask that you speak on the agenda items first and then move on to public comment. So with that, Mr. President, we can take public comment.
Thank you. And our first public comment today will be from Arnold Sachs. Arnold Sachs. And you'll have 3 minutes on your multiple items, followed by 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay. And so we'll set the clock for 3 minutes, Mr. Sachs. If you'd start with your items, which would be the ones between 19 and 27, that would be great. And then when you're done with those, we'll give you a minute for general.
Thank you. Good morning. Arnold Sachs. Item 19 refers to the harbor department. Do you realize that both the harbor and LAX are both proprietary departments? How long have they been proprietary departments? And what is exactly the relationship between the city council and the proprietary departments? Does the city council have any control over the use of the proprietary departments? Could you explain that? Maybe you might explain that to your constituents. Maybe they might want to know what's going on with those departments. Item 20 refers to a memorandum of agreement. I know for a fact that it always used to be MOUs, memorandums of understanding. So could you explain what the problem is? Why they're now agreements? What's a memorandum of agreement all about? Either you agree or you disagree. You don't need to have a memorandum. A memorandum of understanding is different, because it's not necessarily a written agreement. Didn't they have a memorandum of understanding about the stadium that they were supposed to build in downtown LA with AEG? What happened to that?
So
Oh, I remember. It's LA Arena Land Company.
Let's keep with the items.
Number 22 refers to Los Angeles World Airports. The other items refer to LAX. So you have World Airports and you have LAX. But you only have 2 airports. Are they both World Airports? Or aren't they both part of the proprietary department? Why do you have LAX and LAWA and Los Angeles World International Airport? What about the address of 17900 Vermont Avenue? What the hell's going on? And number 24, why are there no more Quimby fees? I thought developers were supposed to be responsible for providing Quimby fees to provide more open space and more parks for LA. Why is LA so park poor?
So could we stick with the items?
I am sticking with the items, sir. It
really
says
about
nothing about Quimby fees.
It's really about
you know why there's no Quimby fees, sir? Do you read these agendas?
Yes, let's keep with
the
the
items,
items,
I'm sure
please.
you do. So, that pretty much covers my items. So
Okay.
let's go to my public comment.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, grants, that they're not issuing grants anymore, but they're for 20 years. What's the sense of having grants that are for 20 years when the city is out $79 trillion? What happened to all the money that the government has been allocating? I thought we were going to go green. I thought Joe Biden went ahead and allocated a whole lot of money for going green. Why isn't the city agreeing with the president? Jessica Lau for mayor. What about the state sales tax on feminine hygiene products? Why doesn't the city council get together and offer a motion to the state that says we need to get rid of the sales tax on feminine hygiene products? Why not? And what about CEQA? It hasn't been updated since 1970. There's a state CEQA law, there's this county CEQA law, and there's a city.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Candido. Candido, 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes for your items, followed by 1 minute of general public comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you can ask our city attorney to stay out of my business. We're talking about exemptions, and if I may, I'm going to take off my mask. Exemptions can be used for many different things. And again, I want to refer to the issue that's taking place on Reseda Boulevard, where this area that shows no parking. Now they're leaving their car doors open as people come down the street, and accidents are starting to happen. But that is an exemption. We could use an exemption based on what you folks have done in the
Mr. Candido, I don't understand which item you're on. What item are you on?
Through all the exemptions, sir.
No, there's nothing on there about that.
You really look foolish. You really do.
So
I mean,
why don't we just?
If we're talking about
I know you want to talk about
exemptions-
something else. So let's just set you at a minute, and then you can talk about anything you want. Please begin.
An embarrassment to this council. You really are, and I hope the next city attorney does. Can we go to public comment now? Give me my full minute.
Fine, we'll give you your full minute.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your kindness. 1 minute. I only show 45. Listen, we are in crisis, and you know I'm going to stand here and say I will hope that Mr. Caruso becomes mayor. He's served this city for 40 years. I've done it for 47. He's got more money than I do, but I've still served this city. I just hope that I know we need somebody who's going to deal with the issues of rent control and the things that are taking place here before you, as far as all these people that are trying to evict. I have a friend here whose own building is now the owner wants to charge them for bad management and collect money from the residents again. How can they do that? How can you do that to human beings who are just trying to live and survive? And it all falls on you. What will you do? What will you do? So, Mr. Caruso, look forward to supporting you because we need a surgeon. We need a person that can come in here and really, really tear this apart. Thank you, Mr. Bobble. I want to thank you for the freedom you.
Thank you.
Next we have Ramel. Ramel, you have 3 minutes for your multiple items, followed by 1 minute of general public comment. Ramel.
Good morning. Could I get my general comment now?
Of course, yeah. So take your minute.
Good morning, council members. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here to say that strong, honest leadership is needed now more than ever. And I'm looking for Rick Caruso as well for this position. Leadership which is rooted with progressive attitudes and actions on the many issues constantly plaguing our communities and government bodies. I want to see a less divisive environment in these local parts of politics. Because right now we are beyond crisis, as my friend says. We won't see homelessness going away anytime soon, as it's a constant battle, as many are always at risk for that position. I believe these issues could also be improved with law enforcement involvement, having them become active roles and cleaning up our streets. I know how divisive police can be, but hopefully under Rick Caruso, this could be fixed. These issues on policing and homelessness have become too complex today, but I believe there's a progressive solution where a cleaner environment and a safer one will be introduced.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next we'll move to Josh Nadell. Josh Nadell, 1 minute for general public comment.
Question. I wanted to speak on item 11 because my neighborhood council filed a community impact statement.
Sir, 11 satisfied public comment already.
Even though we filed a community impact statement.
Yes, in fact, we voted on it. But you're free to talk about it in general public comment.
Sure. Well, I just wanted to see if I could get the extra time. I have to ask, right? Thank you so much. My name is Josh Nadell. I'm from the Palms Neighborhood Council. We were in support of item 11, changing the words budget advocate to budget advocacy. We also approved of what the Budget and Finance Committee said in terms of creating a new fund for supporting budget advocacy work with the neighborhood council system. We hope to work with you on the council to get that done and do some of the more interesting things that we've been talking about. One of the things that we were talking about in our Budget Tribunes Alliance is doing a Budget and Services Day where we get all of our departments, doing something fun and engaging with the public where they can show the different things that they did and the public can come and talk to the different people who work there. And so, we can have a chance to better engage, with our government. I really do want to thank you guys for voting this in and appreciate the time that I got today and look forward to speaking with you all again in the future sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Lionel Mares. 1 minute for general public comment.
Are we allowed to speak on item 11? No.
As part of general public, if you wish, because we've already voted on it.
Okay. For my general comment, I would like to first thank Councilmember Nithya Rahman and Tracy James for their help in making Griffith Park safer for all pedestrians, bicyclists, hikers. And so thank you, Ms. Rahman, for your help. Number 2, I would like to urge the City Council to support and adopt the Sunset for All to make Council District 13 safer for all, for pedestrians, people who are handicapped, bicyclists, because I bicycle there occasionally and I do feel there it's not safe because of speeding motorists, so I urge the City Council to support Sunset for All. And number 3, I would like to urge the city to listen to the concerns of the budget advocates. They sent a letter last night to the city clerk, council file management, because we're concerned, as a board member, myself, we're concerned about how we're gonna raise funds, for things like budget day, workshops, webinars. So we urge the city council to listen to the concerns, and yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. As always, thank you for your respectful comments.
Next, we have Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the City of Los Angeles for saving my life. As far as the pandemic, we didn't have any food rights, so that was a success. January 27th, 2020, the state of Virginia ratified the Equal Rights Amendment, and at that point, it says right here, that the bill, the amendment, will be in full effect of the law on January 28th, 2022. That was 236 days, 10 hours, and 17 minutes ago. As it stands right now, your 19th Amendment rights are moot. As of right now, the Constitution and the Department of Justice, irregard of whether they publish the amendment to the Constitution on a piece of paper, is now in full law.
Thank you.
Which means that any woman in the United States of America.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, sir. We have to keep everyone to 1 minute on general public comment, but we hear you, and thank you for coming in to give your comment. Thank you. And sir, we have to abide by the rules equally.
So,
Our next speaker is DRJ. DRJ, 1 minute.
So, Speaker, we need to move on to the next speaker.
DRJ, 1 minute. Seeing as there is no DRJ, John. Yes, sir. 1 minute for general public comment.
W.C. Fields was a comedian, and he said, start the day off with a smile and get it over with. They're free to do it every time. Little on ovarian cancer, I work with a fellow by the name of Russ Judkins from Kaiser. He got the highest award Kaiser's ever given for ovarian cancer research back on the 1 minute. He still lives in LA City and studio. I talk to him on our birthdays. Anyway, Russ Judkins on ovarian cancer. highest honor. Anyway, I'm here to speak on issues, and I need your help. I've worked for 3 secretaries of the treasurers. I'm the founder of the Democratic Business Caucus. I now have over 250,000. Today, Wells Fargo did us a favor. They're not implementing the new rate till tomorrow, and the bills went out today. A year ago, the rate was 4%, went to 6%, 6.5. Now it's 8.5, and tomorrow will be 9%. It will put a lot of people out of business. We started in 2008 by telling our members, don't try to make a profit.
Thank you.
Break even, pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your people, and build your franchise and to survive. Today, we've done the same thing. We have almost every small business.
We have to give everyone 1 minute, sir. But if you have information about what you're commenting on, please leave it with our sergeants, and we'll take it.
Operation on my hearing to implant over the weekend. I can't hear, but I do listen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next we have to go into the next speaker now. Next speaker. Yeah. Thank you. Next we have Dr. John Kraft. Dr. John Kraft. Yeah, that's him. Okay. All right. It looks like we have no more speakers, so public comment is now closed. Thank you all for coming in to provide your public comment to us. Mr. Clerk, our items, it looks like we have items 19 through 27 available for us to vote on. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, sir.
Thank you. In that case, let's open the roll on those items, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Buscaino.
Forthwith on 26, please.
Forthwith on 26. That shall be the order. Mr. Clerk, what is before us now?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
All right. Colleagues, any announcements today? Mr. Harris Dawson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members. I am just thrilled to announce this morning the grand opening of our first HHH project for this calendar year in my district, the Chesterfield Square Apartments at 48th and Normandy, right on the border of the 8th and 9th council districts. We'll be having a block party on Sunday, September 25th from 2 to 4 p.m. We're going to have choirs and jazz bands and food giveaways. The neighbors in the community will be distributing welcome baskets to all the residents of the new housing facility. They'll be there with us as well. And we're going to have a cookout. Everybody's invited. We are just so excited to be able to pull our unhoused neighbors off the streets into housing in our own neighborhood.
Worth celebrating every time. Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson. Mr. Buscaino. And okay, any other announcements, colleagues? Please all rise in the chambers for adjourning motions. And Mr. Buscaino, we will begin with you.
If I may, thank you, Mr. President and members. I ask that we adjourn today's meeting in honor on the life of another legendary Dodger, Maury Wills. I had an opportunity to know Maury very well. He supported the LAPD Police Memorial Foundation. Years ago, he was one of our celebrity golfers, and he loved our police officers, the police department. We come to know that he lived like 10 minutes away from me in Rancho Palos Verdes. We would meet for lunch, for dinner, and have this amazing relationship that I so treasured. Maury Wills was an essential LA Dodgers and an essential component of the Dodgers championship teams in the mid-1960s. He's a player that brought new action to the game by reviving stolen base as part of baseball strategy. Maury was the NL MVP in 1962, stealing a record 104 bases to break the old modern era mark of 96 set by Ty Cobb in 1915. He was an All-Star for 5 seasons and was the first MLB All-Star Game most valuable player in 1962. He won, Mr. Koretz, get this, Gold Gloves in 1961, 1962, 14-year career. He batted .281 with 20 home runs, 458 RBIs, and 2,134 hits, and 1,067 runs. Maury started his big league career with the Dodgers in June of 1959 after Don Zimmer broke his toe. He played in 83 games for the Dodgers that season when the Dodgers made it to the World Series against the Chicago White Sox, where Maury Wills played in each of the 6 games, hitting 5 for 20 with 1 stolen base and 2 runs, helping the Dodgers win the series and the championship. He was born in Washington, D.C., 7th of 13 children, and died at his home in Sedona, Arizona on September 19th, 2022 at the age of 89. Even though he played 3 seasons for other teams, Maury Wills always was and will always remain a Dodger. And in reflection of Coach Dave Roberts, that brought him to tears the other day, Maury Wills had an incredible impact on Coach, and the fact that he had an incredible impact not only with the Dodgers organization, the players, but also in our community. He would be seen coaching and helping kids out in the communities through the Dodger Dream Foundation at all of the majority of those new baseball fields that you would find in disadvantaged, impacted communities throughout the city, throughout the region. Maury Wills, may he rest in peace and may his memory be a blessing.
Thank you, Mr. Buscaino. A life well lived. Mr. Cedillo.
Yes, Maury Wills was one of the greatest of many great Dodgers. In 1962, he stole 103 bases. He created a scenario, him with Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax, the rest of the lineup, Tommy Davis, Willie Davis from Roosevelt High School, my high school in Boyle Heights. Led the way for the Dodgers to the championship, played in a playoff game. And I just remember the excitement every time he got on base. I had the honor of meeting Maury Wills in Sacramento. I've had the honor of meeting Sandy Koufax and talk to them about how, as a young child, my father would take us to the games, or we'd sit around the black and white television over on 3227.5 East 8th Street across from the Strata Courts housing projects, and we would sit there, the whole family, huddled around this small black and white television in our duplex where we lived, and watch Maury Wills and the excitement of him getting off base and being chased back, getting off base and being chased back. And it inspired the city and created the lure of what the Dodgers are. And it's a shame that he has not yet put in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Right. We met him in Sacramento. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He transformed the sport of baseball. And one of the greatest changes is how you are able to use the stealing of bases to create and augment your offense. And so it's sad that he's left. He's a real gentleman, solid gentleman, a really nice man. When you met him, he was so humble. You were so impressed by the fact that he was Maury Wills and such a humble and modest man. I remember talking to him. I'll tell you one last story. So I had talked to Tommy Davis one day, and we were introducing him to an event, and Antonio Villaraigosa introduced him, and he made a mistake about, he didn't acknowledge all his accomplishments those 2 seasons. And so I corrected the record and talked about how he had won the batting title. And he was upset because I didn't mention that he led the league in triples. And so I'm talking to Maury Wills, telling him this story in Sacramento, and he puts his arm around me. He says, "Oh, Gil, you know how these players are. They remember every play since they were in Little League." He says, "So don't worry about it." Just a real gentleman and a lovely human being. Belongs in the Hall of Fame. There cannot be a Hall of Fame without Maury Wills. Rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Cedillo. We should think about doing a resolution pushing for that. Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just wanted to make similar comments to those of Mr. Cedillo. I was a small child when Maury Wills was setting his record, and my father was a huge baseball fan. And back then, you could go in the cheap seats and be able to afford tickets on a waiter's salary. I'm not sure that you could go to a bunch of games now as easily, but we would always go to the games to see Maury Wills, who would at least try to get off the base far enough to steal, and intended to steal every single time he got on base. He was one of the most exciting players to watch in the history of the game. And let's be honest, if Maury Wills was only judged based on his activities on the field, he would have easily been a Hall of Famer. But he had his demons, people knew about them, and I think that's been unfortunately and inappropriately held against him. And if anything, he's an example of someone that overcame all those demons and was very productive in the years when he got past them. So I'll always remember Maury Wills as one of the greatest players of all time, and someone who is an example to everyone that has struggled with various demons, that they can be overcome and you can accomplish great things once you've done that.
And Mr. Price.
Yeah, just also want to chime in. Maury was certainly a hero for all of us. I remember him well, sitting on the floor, listening to the game, the radio in the dark, and Maury was a powder keg. As soon as he got on base, the chants began: "Go Maury! Go Maury! Go Maury!" And he didn't disappoint. And certainly during the years, he's always been associated with youth programs, especially in his later years, was always willing to give, always present, always source of inspiration. And it is a shame. His outstanding numbers would put him in the Hall under other circumstances. But he still is a champion in the mind of millions and millions who learn the game, learn to appreciate the game, and learn to appreciate stealing a base, for Maury Wills. It was just really exciting. And, interestingly enough, talk about Dave Roberts. When Roberts first came to the Dodgers in his early years, Maury was his mentor. And so they had a very close relationship over the years. But it just brings back memories and brings back thoughts of how important sports is and how our heroes do make a difference. So God rest Maury Wills.
Thank you, Mr. Price. Any other adjourning motions today? Ms. Rahman.
Colleagues, I wanted to rise today to adjourn in the memory of Marcia Hunt, an actress, a model, and an activist who had a career spanning nearly 80 years. And she was a resident of Sherman Oaks for 76 years. She passed away in her home on September 7th. She was born in Chicago to Earl, a lawyer, and Minabel, a vocal teacher and organist, and performed in plays in school and church throughout her youth. At age 17, she was discovered by a Paramount Pictures talent scout and debuted in 1935, appearing in dozens of movies alongside Hollywood heavyweights like John Wayne, Gene Kelly, and Mickey Rooney. She used her platform to stand for her values. In 1947, she was a member of the Committee for the First Amendment, along with people like Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, and the organization supported the Hollywood 10 in their refusal to testify to the House Un-American Activities Committee about communism in the entertainment industry. And in 1950, she was listed in Red Channels, a right-wing pamphlet that claimed that scores of actors, directors, screenwriters, and others were sympathetic to subversive causes. As a result, she saw job offers dry up, and she ended up mostly working in television and on stage, but she forged on in stride. She channeled her energy into serving her community. She was the president of the San Fernando Valley chapter of the American Association for the UN, and she spent 25 years fighting world hunger and advocating for aid money earmarked for direct assistance to those who needed it the most. She was also at the forefront of a person-centered approach to homelessness long before this approach became so much talked about in LA. As honorary mayor of Sherman Oaks, honored by the Sherman Oaks Chamber of Commerce, she organized walkathons and blanket drives to assist neighbors in need. And it wasn't long before she had the ear of Mayor Tom Bradley, and she began the Valley Mayor's Fund for the Homeless, joining forces with the Valley Interfaith Council to form a network for emergency services. She helped to open one of the first, if not the first, interim shelter in the Valley, in 1986, which opened long before Project Room Key in an old motel where families could live free for a month or two while they got back on their feet. That shelter is still operating today, run by the LA Family Housing, and she went on to turn even more hotels and motels into clean, safe shelters for hundreds of families without a roof over their heads. personally showing up every day with supplies and donations to make sure mothers had the essentials their children needed while they and their husbands looked for work. Looking back on her life, Marcia remarked to NPR, "The only real regret I have is that I may be remembered for having been blacklisted, rather than for the work that I have done." These incredible contributions to the Valley should have been the headline on Marcia's life, not the blacklist. Her mark on our city is indelible, and her legacy of compassion lives on not just in Sherman Oaks, but in the entire San Fernando Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other adjourning motions today? Seeing as there are none, every day is a gift. Let's make the most of it. This meeting is adjourned.